Thanks for tuning in. Today is May 31st, 2024. Welcome to this channel. This is a reading for the collective. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you're located. As far as the date is right, hopefully you can benefit from the read in certain ways. When Two of Cups energy is something that we can improve today, it is a time to think about the equality, the partnership, the balance among the relationships we are in. There might be situations that we have to collaborate with the others in a way that we feel equal, but not just being compromised or compromising the other party. This can be sometimes quite tricky because we have unique sense of equality. It depends from our situation and depends on how we were being brought up. Because my sense of equality does not necessarily align with your sense of equality. So this is something that we have to remember when we have to deal with the others today. There is the importance of gaining the common ground among people. Even though we might be coming from very different cultures or the place we live, the place we grew up, it is still possible to gain the understanding and balance between us. As far as we keep our ego in check, as far as we can use our wisdom to interpret the situation and to understand and respect the differences among people. Two of Cups energy is not always easy for everyone because there are people who tend to work with their own pace because that gives them the sense of peace and serenity. Not everybody is built with the capability to align themselves to the collective. Some people, they grew up a lot of siblings, they get used to it. Some people, even though they grew up with siblings, that doesn't mean they always have the peace with them. So it really depends. So usually most of the people would say Two of Cups energy, oh, it's wonderful. But it really depends. It depends who you are. It depends on what situation you are in. I believe that some of you might be in situations where you really want to use your own force to overcome problems in your life. However, the circumstances require you to collaborate with the others, and it's not easy for you because you have to let go of some of the deep-seated ideas of individualism, privacy, and you have to maybe temporarily let go of those ideas in order to work with the others. and to accept the fact that, okay, we are on the same boat. We have to work through it. I mean, I personally, I feel this because I am not a very collaborative person on a soul level. Um, I mean, I can collaborate with compassion, but it doesn't mean always okay with that. No, I love my freedom. I love my um, individualism. So Two of Cups energy is not always um, it's not always easy, and it's not always working for me naturally. So for some of you, I believe that it will be much easier because you have been uh, you know you have been collaborating with the others throughout the years and throughout your life, and that's great. I congratulate you. But for the others who needs time to get used to collaboration and partnerships, um, there is no need to be afraid, because as far as you are firm about your identity, your values, and the things that you concern about, believe in, um, and you will figure out a way to to still stay working with the others, but at the same time um, not having your boundaries being crossed. So when Two of Cups energy is present, it is crucial for us to learn about the perspective of the others. Even though we might not understand, at least being patient with the others is beneficial to our relationships and our progress. It's great to understand the other's perspective, putting ourselves into their shoes for today. At certain, I mean, in certain situations. But at the same time, um, please do not forget about yourself. If you're always sacrificing yourself, make sure that you're not being sacrificed today. Make sure that the others know about your situation too. Because Two of Cups energy is about equality. So anything that is out of balance is not recommended for today. Make sure that both sides or multiple sides can understand each other and can come together for a solution, for for an understanding. As you can see in this picture, in the middle, you can see there is a slope. That is definitely the highest point among the other areas of this picture. And you can see a house on the slope and the trees on the slope. So that means two energies are coming together to build something that is not necessarily easy to build, because building a house on a slope is definitely more difficult than building a house on the ground level. So Two of Cups is also about partnerships. So if today, if there is a proposal to get you into a partnership, you have to understand the fact that it's not easy. is not easy. Just like building a house on a slope. That requires persistence, requires strength, and the synergy between people, the synergy among organizations, um, in order to pursue something that is valuable for everyone involved. It depends from situation to situation. If you decide to get involved, make sure that you see the bright side of the project, the bright side of being collaborative with each other. If you really cannot see that side of the reality of the situation, I suggest you to take your time. Take your time. And if the other person feels like, hey, I'm so ready and you're not ready, then that's not the Two of Cups energy. If you have the fear, and your fear should be acknowledged by the other party also. They can't just push you forward for their agenda. So try not to be the upper hand on something, and try not to let others walk over you at the same time. If something is to be done in a wonderful way, it has to be on an equality basis. But as I said earlier, it can be very tricky because not all relationships are reciprocating. Some relationships, some people they are giver, and in the process of giving, they are receiving at the same time. It is just not the same as the way we were being brought up. Usually we pay for something and then we get something, but it's not always like that. Someone might be very giving, but very giving to a person, to a situation, but it's not necessary for these people to gain the strength back from the recipient. Sometimes the help comes from the other things, the other people, the other circumstances, and that's being arranged by the universe and the energy we create. So I'm always surprised by many people who would always say, oh, I helped that person, but they don't help me back. And I feel like it is kind of a mistake that is created by what we learned as a child. I don't know how you perceive giving and receiving, but for me personally, I think the society in generally, it depends on the culture also. Most of the time, we give something to someone, we ask for something at the same time. And if that person doesn't give back or whatever, then that's a problem. Well, but in fact, after all these years, sometimes I will ask myself, is that really a problem? And if we always perceive that as a problem, then that's a problem. But if we feel like we have fulfilled our, you know, we have fulfilled our destiny, and in the process of helping the others, then does it mean we are not receiving it back? We help because we believe that action is helpful and is good for the others at a collective. But if we are asking for something back from that particular person, then of course it will be out of balance, because sometimes circumstances change. Not everyone being helped will remain, in the lives of the helpers. You see what I mean? Sometimes you help someone, but they have their own journey ahead, and you might not be talking that much to these people, but doesn't mean you have to feel sad about them leaving. I personally, I don't think so. I think the most important thing is the process, and if the process is fruitful, then we tried our best to do the best to help each other, but at the end, not everything is under our control, right? So, yeah, I just really want to share this with you, because equality is very, very tricky. I personally think it's very tricky. It's not that easy to understand equality. I think society and the social norms have created a particular sense of equality among us, but that does not always, it's not always the truth, right? It really depends. When you feel the equality over there, but maybe you don't feel it over here. You might feel the equality here, but if you change your location, you visit somewhere else, their equality is different from your original thoughts. So, that's very tricky, and it's not about right or wrong. But we have to, try our best to put ourselves into a situation where we are feeling the sense of equality, feeling the sense of balance. Partnerships that make sense. If it doesn't make sense, that means either you need to change your mentality and perspective, or it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for you. So, in Two of Cups energy, the main theme is to gain a common ground with the others. Not necessarily everything is the same between you two, but at least if the most important thing is built on common ground, then the other details can be negotiable. So, and last but not least, I have to emphasize the fact that make sure that the vision, the ultimate vision, is aligned between you. Because if it's not, then it deserves more time for consideration. Because we need to have the common ground to build something upon it. And it's not about just today or tomorrow, but in the long run. Well, it depends from situation to situation. Perhaps some of you will only need to collaborate for a dinner today, then that's a short-term thing. But if there is a big decision that will affect a lot of things in the future, then it's always wise to be very careful. But at the same time, timing is everything. So I know it's kind of difficult to understand, but there has to be a balance between catching the right timing to do things and negotiate for the right terms and conditions for not only you but also the other person. So I hope this helps some of you, and I appreciate you supporting this video. And if you like the video and channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I really appreciate. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Be well.